Soul Space. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am just sharing the show because I was running a few minutes late. Bobby and I got to talking. We have so much stuff going on in the studio. It's amazing. Like, you got to come down to Studio C one night. You can watch the show live if you'd like. We're going to do that, I think. Bobby, I just decided. No, it's been great. Bobby's got all new sets coming in, new furniture. I came in today and there was a big thing in my way. And I'm like, hey, you can't be doing this stuff around me. And then he does it anyway. It's really good. So I'm just sharing the show. If you guys can share the show, that'd be really, really cool. Loving it, loving it. And got a lot to talk about tonight, I have to say. I'm writing love now. Live now. Lots to talk about tonight. We've got astrology. I want to talk about as soon as I can type. Okay. So I want to talk about astrology tonight. First, I want to talk about welcoming all of you, beautiful people, into the soul space. I don't know why, but I was driving to the studio tonight, and I felt like I haven't been here in a while, and I was here last Monday. But that's just an indication of how this year of 2024 is actually going to go. I have to say, this year is going to fly. It's going to be a very rapid year. A lot of stuff's going to happen for all of us. This is definitely a very intense and very important year, 2024, for all of us. We have some major transits that are changing the energy out there in the world. And it's going to be a type of year where you really want to start to kind of live internally, I guess I'll say. I know there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of noise out there. But especially now, this week, we have something happening that's momentous. Pluto, which is on a 230-year orbit, is actually changing signs. It's going into Aquarius. That's huge for every single one of us because Pluto is a planet of transformation. It's been in Capricorn since 2008. So whatever has been your cycle for the last 15 years has slowly but surely started to gradually come to an end. And now you're going to go into an area of your life where anything that is outdated, outmoded, and done, that's it. You're done. You're going to really see some shifts in that regard. So I want to talk very general first tonight, and then we're going to talk more about this particular transit, and then we'll either go to cards or we'll open up the phone lines. Whatever you guys are feeling, let me know in the comments. I'm going to make sure that I... Is the audio okay, Bobby? Because I just checked in my audio and it was very scratchy. So if you can hear the audio tonight, let me know. Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, something's wrong with the sound. Marie, how are you? Anita? Yeah, they're all saying the sound sounds distorted. I don't know if it's my mic. I'm going to keep talking so Bobby can know. Yeah, it's, we're working on the sound, don't worry. I'm going to put that in the comments. Solar flares. Okay. Bobby said he thinks we fixed the sound. Is it fixed, Bob? Okay, we're fixed. All right, good. Sorry about that, guys. We have so much new equipment in the studio lately. We are really building this place up. It's actually phenomenal. If anybody wants to come down and actually do a karaoke night, we do those here too. So maybe get a bunch of people together for that. So anyway, we'll be doing some more live events, and we have bands here on Friday nights. So I want to talk a little bit broadly, but the reason why 2024 is such an important year for all of us is because we're really in a time of very accelerated change. Um, if you think last year was a quick year and things really changed rapidly, you've not seen anything yet. And so because of that, what I'm strongly going to suggest for everybody is look to some form of guidance in your life where you are really drilling yourself down into your own agency, your own private time, your own quiet time. Really important for us, I can't stress this enough, to manage ourselves in this environment. because you're going to see a lot of disruptive things happen this year in a different way than we've been seeing last few years. These will be much more anything, like I said, that's outmoded or outdated is really just going to be washed away, like just flow away. But it's really important that you take control over yourself. And I know that sounds like a really broad statement, like, okay, well, I have control over myself. We all think we do. But I'm here to tell you tonight, you don't. You don't have control over yourself. You might have control over certain facets of yourself, but you're letting a lot of things control you, and a lot of outside stimuluses control you. Everything from, and when I say you, I mean me too. You know, we are all, it's a constant work in progress to have that self-mastery that we all aspire to. But I'm going to ask you in the next couple of days just to take a pause and think about what in your life really is the driver. And a lot of times when we do this kind of review, things are going to come up from our past because all of us have things that define us. And there are experiences that we had, maybe losses that we had, maybe abandonment, maybe something where someone really wasn't very kind to us as a child. Maybe it happened yesterday. But there are all these things in our life that are experiences that are defining us. And some of them are negative, and some of them aren't so good. So now is the time, because of where we are astrologically on the planet, now's the time we have to start clearing out those things and reconciling those things that are controlling our life and determining for us the way that we operate and determining the emphasis of what we think about most of the time. And those experiences result in things. For instance, maybe it's guilt, maybe it's shame, maybe it's anger. But there's some experiences that you've had that have shaped you into a not positive way. And with the cosmology that we're coming up on, Pluto and Aquarius and some other planetary shifts, and just the way the energy is in the world, those emotions are going to start to become very heightened because all of our emotions are very heightened. They're going to be even more extremely heightened in 2024. And if we don't get a grip on ourselves, it's not going to be good for any of us. And we don't just need to do this for ourselves. We also have a responsibility to do this for each other and the world. Because if we don't find a way to stay in our own solitude, our own quietude, our own calm amongst the chaos, then that vibration gets amplified even more. We're contributing to the chaos in the world instead of trying to steady it. For those of you who are sensitive, like I am, and many, many of my friends in the spiritual world, lately you'll hear us talking about sometimes we actually feel like the world is shaking, like we're all getting shook up. And that can be a good thing, you know, if you like amusement park rides, and it can be a good thing if you're trying to move energy. But this kind of shake up isn't always positive. The way to turn that around and make it positive is for each one of us to become responsible enough to go into our own witness, our own observations of our life. And when you drop into that witness, that observer of your daily routine, your thoughts, your habits, what's really in your heart, when you're in that observer mode, when you're operating from that witness place, what do you know really needs to be taken care of in order for you to really live a Zen life, a stable life, and an expanded life where you're letting more love in? You know, when I started the Zenkuda community several years ago, my mission was to create a community of non-judgment where we can all really help each other become better people. And the whole idea of Zenkuda is simply, Zenkuda means bringing your best self to the world. And the reason why I named my podcast The Soul Space is because the way we do that is living from that space of soul. And if we don't have a certain ritual or a certain habit, whether it's daily or every other day or a few times a week, where we literally are dropping into that soul space, that tender, most sacred place in ourselves, in order to do a check-in, know what we're about, what's our trajectory, who are we becoming, where has the places we've been shaped us now, and what do I need to tweak on the dial and make an adjustment, right? every day we open our eyes, and if you're like me, sometimes you reach for the phone. You know, especially I'm in real estate. If I'm doing a deal, I reach for the phone. It's on my night table a lot of the time, even though I hate taking devices into my bedroom. But one of the first things we do is we open our eyes and reach for the phone. If the screen on that phone was blurry, you'd adjust it. If you weren't able to see your messages clearly, you'd adjust it. And yet we're living a life where we're not seeing the messages clearly. We're not getting the divine spark. We're not getting the divine contact that we need with our own soul. So, especially in the next few days, January 20th, Pluto goes into Aquarius, and that's not to say that something's going to be like a snap of a finger and everything's going to change in the world, but it's going to start a whole new cycle, is what it's going to do, a 20-year cycle. So in the next few days, make sure you're prepared for a new cycle in your life. Are you seeing clearly? Are you hearing the messages that your creator, that source, wants to bring to you? Like I said, if your phone wasn't clear, or your TV wasn't clear, or your computer screen was blurry, you'd adjust it and you'd play around with it. But we walk around all day in this static, in this blurry kind of a noise, like we're not really here. We got to stop that. We have to start to drop into ourselves. And I'm sorry if this sounds a little bit like a lecture, but if we don't recenter and reorient in order to be the controller in our lives, boy, are we in for a really bumpy ride the next 20 years. Because there's a lot of forces out there externally that want to control us. They have an agenda. It doesn't always match our agenda. So if that's the case, maybe you got to make sure your agenda is really, really protected. And the way you do that is to spend time with yourself, spend time really honing in on who you really want to be and what you're becoming. The last show we did, I asked everyone to think back on the last year, and if you continued all of the habits in your daily routine or all of the habits that you do in your life, who would you become? And there, of course, are some things that are really great and positive that you're going to bring forward and pull forward into the future to really help you become that best self. And then there are things you're going to have to lose. You know, there's things that you're going to have to tweak and adjust and say, well, you know what, maybe this really isn't something I want to bring forward. Well, one of the things we need to bring forward is that beautiful time, stopping along the way to do a check-in with yourself. And if I had to put a title onto 2024, the title or the mantra that I would use, and you can all borrow it or steal it or whatever, you were going to see it a lot on my media, is emerge to a new way, emerge to a new way, emerge to a new way. It's almost like we need to emerge. We can say grow, we can say change, but this is an emergence. This is like you think of a flower. I've been growing what are the Christmas flowers that we always get? I always want to call them hyacinths. They're not hyacinths, amaryllis. I always grow amaryllis this time of year in pots on my kitchen counter because it's my ritual for new beginnings and new earth, and, planting a seed and watching it grow inspires me as a new year comes into play. So think about yourself, as that seed that's been planted that you're going to watch yourself grow and emerge. For those of you who garden or raise flowers, that little point where the sprout just starts to come out of the earth, that's 2024. But we're sprouting and we're emerging to do some things new and in different ways. So really think about what that means for you. So today is a great day for intuition because we have a moon in Pisces. And so as you're thinking about, what you want to become, what kind of activities you want to bring into 2024 and into this new year, and you're also thinking about how can I, drop down into my heart space, into my soul space on a daily basis, on a regular basis, in order to be more present and more fully powerful in my life. As you're thinking about those things, think about the fact that we allow so many things to define us that aren't even worthy of us. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we'll have a personal experience. I'm going to open up and be a little vulnerable right now because I feel like one of my resolutions in 2024 is to go back to my very early beginnings in Zenkuda, and that was when I really shared a lot of personal experiences, and I think that helps people. It helps me when other people do that. So when we start thinking about a lot of the things that have happened to us in our past, and for me, I know that one of the biggest things that happened to me in my life was as a child when my parents got divorced and I was a teenager and my dad kind of left the family. And so you can say, okay, that happened to me when I was 13 and that was so many years ago. But up until I'd say maybe a decade ago or even just a few years ago, that was probably the deciding factor and driver in my whole entire life, you know? And I remember one time I was watching a movie about somebody whose parents had passed away and they were felt guilty about something and they could still hear their parents' voice in their head, you know, being critical of them and things like that. And the moral of the movie was that this person was actually letting their dead parent control them. And so after my dad died, I realized that my dad was still the driver in my life. Like after I became an adult and we had a better relationship, um, I think a lot of times I used him as a measuring stick for things in my life, of approvals and things like that. And so, you know, my dead father was driving my whole life. And I kind of had to come to terms with that and realize, wow, he has an awful lot of power over me when I was a kid and throughout my whole life. And of course, some of it I was grateful for because it made me who I was. It made me very strong and very stable and extremely hardworking. But it also messed me up a little bit. So, what are the things in your life that have happened to you that are still driving you, that are a driving force in your life that you really need to reconcile? Because we all have those things. And boy, when we really stop to think about them, it can be quite an eye opener, quite an eye opener. So, don't let those things define you. Because if you're letting something like that define you, then your whole future has been determined already. It could even be, you know, maybe you went through a messy divorce, or maybe you have a child who doesn't talk to you, or whatever it might be. We all have stuff. But if you live in that and you allow that to define you, now your future is that. And I know none of us want that. So I just wanted to put that out there. Um, Also, today, on January 20th, rather, when we have Pluto going into Aquarius, that day we also have the sun moving into Aquarius. So we're coming into a lot of Aquarius energy. Aquarius energy is the decentralization and the breaking apart of things. Aquarius does that in order to bring us to a higher level of consciousness. So now you know why I'm talking about what I spent the first 20 minutes of this show talking about. If we don't get into a normal routine, a regular routine of doing something to raise our consciousness and check in with our deep self, all that Aquarian energy is going to break a lot of things apart in order to make us do that. So if you don't want that to happen, you don't want the eruptions, you don't want the sudden energetic disruptions, let's call them. If you don't want all that to happen, then you need to check in with your soul space. You need to check in with your heart, what you really want to do, your inner place, because that's where we have to start operating from. The world's going to make us start operating from there, whether we like it or not. And so if we don't take control of that ourselves, it could be a little harsh. So 2024 is really a next level soul. All right. It is absolutely where we are being pushed and prodded, and between the solar flares and the astrology and just the things that are happening on the human part of the world, we have so much energy pushing us into becoming a better self, pushing us into another octave of human being, another evolution. Um, if you are any kind of a light worker, what is a light worker? Someone who works with light, in light. I'm a light worker. I work in the light when I do astrology readings, when I do mediumship readings, when I do this show. I'm working in light. I'm trying to bring light to all of you. Beautiful, positive energy of love. We all are light workers in some way. We all can probably amplify and expand that space if we really put our minds to it. But this year in 2024, we light workers have to help other people resolve their trauma. 2024 is a year where traumas are going to come to the surface for a lot of people. The Aquarian energy that we have is going to make them rise up and break apart for the simple reason of healing and raising consciousness. This isn't something to be afraid of. It's something very beautiful, because then the world will vibrate higher as we live in more forgiveness and more healing. But it's the responsibility of everyone who is a light worker, whether you do Reiki or a healing modality or whatever you do, becoming more in touch with our soul and being able to operate from a place of a much higher level of consciousness, a much higher level of love, is a responsibility we have for every single person on the planet. Because when we raise that vibration, we do it for everybody. We have to stop living in that vibration of decay, of all these things that are outmoded and outdated, and no, and they've passed their useful life. We have to stop living in those, and that includes our experiences. We have to stop being frozen in abandonment, frozen in sadness, frozen in grief. We have to stop that. And the way we do that is by going into the gratitude within us for the life we still have to live, the life that we can make even better and more supreme and bring that best self to the world, Zen Kuda. So we need to create joy in the world, whether that's being funny or just telling someone something beautiful or whatever it is, really, really important. So I just wanted to say that today and really put that out there. And I'm going to leave you with this, and then we'll go to some cards and things. If anybody wants to call into the show, we'll put the number on the screen. Watch yourself. Be the observer. Be the witness of yourself. No one else should be judging you. You should not be judging you. But you should be giving yourself the support, the comfort, and the love you need to bring your life forward in new ways, emerge in new ways. So be really careful of fear. As Pluto goes into Aquarius and changes signs, fear will be heightened in the world, because anytime Pluto changes a sign, it becomes amplified and heightened for the first little while. So we have to be better at guarding our Zen. And that's what I'm saying, is we have to be better at guarding that soul space. So understand what's happening with yourself. Where are the places where you have that sadness that you need to do something about? And so how do we spend time with ourselves? How do we drop down into that soul space, that love, to feel that stability, that we can operate from someplace where we have a lot of confidence and we know that we're really able to function in the world at peak capacity? Well, we have to have some kind of habits, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's playing an instrument, singing, meditating, yoga, the gym, exercise. Maybe you wake up a half hour early every day than usual and you just read some really inspirational book. Maybe you just sit quietly and just think about life without any devices on and complete silence. But we have to find that way and that path, and it's going to be different for all of us. And if any of you need help finding that, let me know, and we can have a little talk. We can have a little place to just kind of connect. Connection is what is needed. During COVID, we all were starving for the connection of each other, and we realized how much interdependence we really needed. But I still think there's a large portion of us that don't realize how much we need connection with ourselves. Without connection with ourselves, we really aren't operating from any kind of system that has our best potential at heart. So that's my soapbox for the night. So let me go to comments now. Trying to see my comments here. Oh, they're there. I don't know why I can't really see a lot of them. Oh, Marilyn shared the show. Thanks, Marilyn. That's so sweet of you. So if anybody wants to call in and chat about this stuff and what's coming, or have questions about what to expect for the energy in 2024, just call the show in. We've got 516-945-9099 for those of you who are just listening and not watching. That's 516-945-9099. The other thing I want to say also is this energy can also make us feel very sensitive. I know myself, the last few days, I actually had to reach out to a mentor for some help, because I was starting to feel very much almost as though the last 15 years were repeating on me and all of the experience that I've had. And they really helped me after we spoke. But for those of us who are sensitive, in this energy, you're going to want to isolate. And what I want to say is, we're all really concerned with the algorithms, right? In social media, Facebook, Instagram, we're all really into those algorithms. How many likes did I get? Blah, blah, blah. I think we've forgotten there's an algorithm that's actually out there in the world, not on media, but there's an algorithm to life, right? Saturday, it was a beautiful day by me. Temperatures were in the 50s, and here in January, we don't usually have that in New York. And I went and I walked. There's a shopping center by my house, and I actually just went and walked around it, even though it's outdoors, because it's like it breaks the wind and it's kind of warm, so it's nice to walk there in the winter. Very sunny, and there was such a hustle and bustle and life, and in this everyone, Saturday, busy Saturday, and I thought, wow, you can feel the energy. There's an algorithm, right? That's the algorithm you want to live in. Whatever algorithm suits you, but that's real, that's three dimensional, that's reality. And then, of course, there's algorithms also in the higher dimensions, which a lot of us, like myself, visit from now and again when we astral travel and meditate and all. But my point being, we can't just live in the algorithm that's online. And that's what I think a lot of people get lost in. There's a whole algorithm that we're living and breathing and feeling and touching and being sentient beings and experiencing. So get out there and slip yourself into the algorithm of life, because we're forgetting to do that. And boy, that's like not a good thing. AI will take over if we don't get out there and like look at the algorithm. Okay. I keep losing my, keep losing my comments. All right. So if anybody wants to call into the show, definitely do that. I'm glad Steph says she can relate to all this. I'm going to read a card for Steph. Chris says she frequently resorts to prayer when feeling down. That's beautiful. And prayer can be different for all of us. I know for me, sometimes prayer also is singing chants. If those of you who have ever gone to a kirtan or any kind of even sing-along or something, there's a vibration that gets raised. And to me, that's prayer, chanting. I know when I did my yoga teacher training, there's chants that we did, and you could literally feel the studio just like fly. The energy just came up. It was so, so beautiful. Peter Hansen's online. Arnie Frank, smoke. Don't know what that means. What's your website so I can get an astrology chart reading? You can go on zencuda.com, ZENCUDA.com. But yeah, I love that you said that about prayer, Chris, because that is just so beautiful. I'm going to start reading a couple of cards, but there is a video on my social media. I didn't put it up on Zencuda on YouTube yet. That put this here. That's all about Pluto going into Aquarius. Really implore all of you to go and watch that video, because Pluto going into Aquarius is a huge thing for all of us. It's not this mumbo jumbo jargon you're going to see in the memes and all this stuff on social media. It's really what I wrote and what I videoed. My video on that is really what it's about. You're going to see a lot of decentralization and a lot of breaking apart in the world of structures, of belief systems, big on belief systems. And you have to have your own agency. You have to be really strong in yourself to navigate these years, guys. All right. Okay. So first card I'm going to do is for Stephanie, and then I'm going to go down and pull. Lisa Enright, how are you doing? I got Bonnie Crystal on. Oh, I got so many people on I haven't spoken to in so long. Love it, love it, love it. Christine Norton. Okay, so I'm going to start with Stephanie Kalanoff. We're going to pull a couple of cards for you. Carmine's back there on the overhead cam, right? Studio's coming along. We got such great stuff going on here, I got to tell you. Okay. Steph, I got the Queen of Swords. Well, if you are in the if you can in the comments, Steph, just, I don't know when your mom's birthday was, but wanted to kind of find that out. Okay. So I have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. So, and this actually was pulled out of the deck right side up. So this is two really strong women. I feel like this is you and your mom. And then I have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is new beginning. So I feel like Queen of Swords is mom. So I don't know when her birthday was. Christmas. Oh, that's right. You told me that. Okay, so she was a Capricorn. Okay. I just feel like this is representing mom, because I feel like she had a lot of fire. She was a feisty lady. And then I feel like Queen of Cups is you, because you're a very sensitive person, and Cups is water is emotion in tarot. So I feel here like if you look at the way these cards are pulled, these two queens are facing each other. And it's almost like there's a conversation here. This makes me feel like your mom is actually conversing with you. Now, that doesn't mean that maybe you'll hear voices or anything like that, but I feel like sometimes our inner knowing, we almost cognitively in our minds can like hear someone saying something to us. We feel it in the body. And I think you're probably having experiences like that because I know you just recently lost your mom. Ace of Wands is a beautiful, beautiful card for these two energies that are in interplay here because the Ace of Wands is a new beginning. And if you look, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but the Ace of Wands is the staff or the rod, as we call it in tarot, with all new leaves on it. And then you have this beautiful, it's like the hand of God. It's a divine hand of God um, extending this rod to someone with the new growth on it. This is almost like a hand from beyond coming in and giving you permission to start a new life, emerge in new ways, right? That's our catchphrase this year. Because when you look at that hand that's giving it to you, it's coming out of the clouds. It's divinely guided. It's saying, this is a new beginning. Start your new life. And aces in the tarot also are new beginnings. They're a major arcana card. And when aces come in, it usually means the energy is really switching. It's actually like doing a flip over. They were flipping the script. I'm going to pull a card just to confirm the energy. And the card that I got here is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of competition, which means that sometimes we have dueling thoughts in our head. We may be wanting to do one thing, but we're being held back. You know, it's like the angel devil kind of thing, positive, negative kind of thing. But this card with this spread for me, the spread is where all the cards fall. I feel like this is an ending energy. This is an energy of something that you've been battling for a long time ending. And I think this is significant of the battle that your mom had and that you were such a wonderful caretaker for her. But even though you were and you gave from your soul and you wouldn't, you know, ever begrudge your parent anything, it also was a challenge. You know, it's a challenge to take care of a sick person and give them what we know they need in the end of life. And so this is over now, and that battle, that fight, that challenge is over. And here I have the Knight of Swords, which is what I call my 911 card. The Knight of Swords comes in when we're in need of healing or help, and he comes in with his sword. This is also Archangel Michael. Um, and he comes in with his sword to kind of save the day, like dun dun dun, like on the white horse, you know. And what I take away from this reading is that mom's coming through, giving you permission to move on. I feel like you're going to get signs in that. Maybe you've gotten a sign about that today. I feel like something may have occurred. And if you look at this, it means that this trying time, the fight that mom had with the end of life is over. She's at peace. And now we have Archangel Michael coming in, leading the way for you to go into a path of light, of love, of new beginnings. And that's the reading. If you can, I know, you know, I don't know what kind of, you know, real spiritual religion kind of thing you do, but if you do believe in angels, I would say a little prayer to Archangel Michael every night before you go to bed. Maybe something just as simple as watch over me and, you know, help me forge my new path. You know, he's a very, very powerful angel. Sometimes Archangel Michael can appear to us in blue light or violet light in our mind's eye, but definitely if you can have some kind of devotion to Archangel Michael. Also, I'm sure your family, I don't think you would be, you know, having religious medals, but for some reason I see something with Archangel Michael around you. So um, just take that with you. Okay. Hi, Aaron. You're crying, Stephanie. But yeah, I feel that really strongly, and I'm going to see you privately, Stephanie, because I think there's more. I just want to wait a little bit of time because I think the energy is still kind of working its way through, if you know what I mean. Um, hey, Elaine, how are you? And Michelle Oder says also prayer. I have to tell you, prayer is such a powerful, powerful thing. Um, I've seen miracles literally in prayer, and now is such a wonderful time for us to pray because the world really needs that elevation. All right. Um, absolutely. I mean, I feel like crying right now because of prayer is such a big, huge thing. I'm going to go up the um the comments. So I'm just going to pull a couple cards for everybody so I can try to get to everybody. So Aaron, let's see what you have. Um, Aaron, your energy feels calm today. What the heck? You're usually my fire child. Aaron feels calm today. So I've got. Aaron's like the worst enemy with cards because he reads them himself and he thinks he knows what they are, but what they aren't for me. So I have the Eight of Pentacles upside down, Aaron. Hard work's going to pay off. I feel like there's just a little bit of a delay there. I've got the Empress. Maybe something's happening with a female around you, delaying something. Maybe you're going to have an unexpected trip, or perhaps somebody has got a little bit of a health issue. I feel like maybe you're being derailed a little bit. And then the next card that I'm choosing is in reverse, the Six of Wands. So, Aaron, your hard work is going to pay off, but there's something delaying the recognition. Definitely feeling that. So, and it's a feminine energy. Something that you really want is being delayed. Recognition will come. You have to keep the faith. But what I'm going to say to you is that it is definitely a delayed recognition. Okay? So just keep that in mind. I know it fits something that you're trying to accomplish. Um, those are good cards, Aaron. It's coming. Elaine, I'm going to pick a card for you. Shuffle, shuffle. Everybody's shuffling. Whoops. Okay. Elaine, is it for you? I got the Tower. Okay. I got hard work paying off, babe. Yep. And the what? I can't see. Oh, it's a Nine of Pentacles. Okay. So Elaine, first of all, the Tower card. Whenever I read the Tower, unless it's surrounded by a lot of very negative cards, this is actually good for me. I think this is looking like things are cleared. What had to be cleared is cleared. All right. So something's coming in for you. Hard work paying off. Look at all the pentacles coming in. If you've been waiting for something, or if something happened, I'm getting the energy of something needing a do-over, like something fell away, almost like, if I could use the example, like we've had a lot of rain in our area, almost like if someone had water in their house or a flood in their house or something with building, and they now have to redo it, but it's actually good because it wasn't done right in the first place. So I'm really getting the energy with this Tower of a redo, like something is being redone, and as much as it's frustrating and not your ideal, it's almost like it had to happen that way for it to be done correctly. So it's actually a very positive energy for me. If it wasn't, I would tell you. And this makes sense to me because with the Eight of Pentacles next to it, it's actually like going to be more profitable in the end, whatever you lose. And by profitable, of course, it doesn't have to be financial, just more abundant. And then I've got this beautiful card with our pentacles here also, so you've got a lot of pentacles in this reading, which is abundance for me. This is also a nostalgia card. So whatever had to fall away, it needed to do it correctly in order for something to be built better, rebuilt better. Do not go into nostalgia and say, oh, I wish it still was that way. I wish it still was the old way. The new way was supposed to happen. Okay? So there you go. You've got the Two of Swords. So don't be blind to the new way. Remember, emerging in new ways, emerge in new directions. Let this go. Let it go. Let it fall apart. Be nostalgic at something. Glad it was there, but you want to move forward. And I've got the recognition coming in for you if you do. Okay? We just got the Six of Wands. So really, really important for you to go forward in this energy. All right? You've got Saturn in Pisces now, so that's causing a little bit of limitation for you. It's okay. It can only be limiting if you allow it, so surrender to it. All right? Next card is going to be for Michelle. I'm going to pull a card for you. Liz, I owe you a phone call. I got your message last week. I just had a little bit of a hectic weekend. I'm taking a huge astrology immersion course, and I had some work to do. Michelle, they're telling me to pick two cards for you, and I got the recognition card and you show them, and the Empress card. Two cards that just were, and you guys saw me shuffle. So, Elaine, Michelle, mom's coming in to say hi. First of all, she just like went whoosh, came in to say hi. Wants me to tell you that you're being recognized. Mom is recognizing your efforts. Something about a large decision that you've recently made. Mom is approving, shaking her head yes. She's just coming in for me. If you've been doubting if your mom was on the same page as you, she is. All right? Yeah. All pentacles means abundance, money coming in, right decision, long term. I'm hearing long term as well. So, whatever you've been working on and you've been wondering if your mother sees it, knows it, recognizes it, and approves of it, yes, 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 and yes. All right. Um, Christine Camarada, going to pick a card for you. Just going to shuffle these a little more. So, yeah, Zenkuda is a word that I coined, and it means bringing your best self to the world. You know, living in full control and potential, being really seriously protective about your Zen. So, Christine, I have the Page of Pentacles for you, and the Knight of Wands for you, and the Seven of Wands. So, first thing that I'm getting intuitively is if there's any question about money or a young person and their ability to earn money, be okay with money, whatever, anything like that, it's going to be fine. Second thing I'm getting is if anyone's waiting to hear about a job or some kind of project being approved, you're going to hear about that. But the person that's going to be working on this is a very strong person, good business person, good project person, but they have a really big ego. If you don't know what I'm referring to, you will in the next couple of weeks. But what I'm going to say here is this Page of Pentacles comes in with the opportunity. And then it's like, okay, we're going to let you do something. We're going to give you this opportunity, but you can only do it if you do it with this person. And that person is really good at doing the opportunity, but sometimes they can be a real pain in the neck because there's an ego involved. And you will kind of battle that a little bit. There's a lot of competition there. Part of me feels like this can be for you, but I also feel it's someone in your family or someone around you, like a younger member of the family. But maybe it's you doing it with them. I don't know. But that's what I'm getting. Project gets approved, but you do it with this person. This person is good at the project, but pain in the ass, and you're going to come to a lot of competition with it. So whatever that is, that's what I got. Stephanie, I did. Christine Renzulli, hey, honey. I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you're doing well. I always see pictures of the kids on Facebook, and I'm like, how did this kid get so big? I remember when you had that baby, your daughter. I'm like, how did that get so big? We're getting old, honey, but we're still hot. Okay, Christine, got a card for you. Queen of Pentacles. That's you. I got the Page of Cups and Balance. So I'm seeing something with, I think this is your son or a younger male around you. I feel like you're worried about balancing something, like something new just occurred for this person. I feel it's like one of your sons or your son. A young male who is embarking on a new trajectory, a new experience, and I feel like you're a little concerned. Is this going to be balanced? Is this almost like safe? Is this okay for him? And it is. What I'm seeing is that he just needs to balance his energy. Like he has a little bit of a will swing in extremes a little bit or get really like overzealous about certain things. And I feel like he just has to watch the energy. But I also feel when I go into your energy that you are definitely going to have a great year for 2024 for you. A lot of changes coming in for you, I feel like. So that's really nice. I feel like you're really starting to think about your future and make some plans for the future. So whatever comes in, if there's something that comes in, Christine, that kind of feels like you feel like it's pulling you forward, really go for that because I'm getting that feeling very, very strong, like right in the center of under my rib cage, like something pulling you forward. So if there's a move in your future or some kind of big life change that you're contemplating, it may not happen this year, but you start the ball rolling for it this year. So take that with you. Okay. And then also with Sun, everything's fine. The balance is going to come. It's just like a little bit of a rock and roll time. And then things get balanced for him. She's saying, oh, he just started. Oh, he's in the NIPID. Okay, New York Police Department. Yeah, so I feel like he's going to be like, kind of full of, a lot of energy, a lot of ambition there, but he's got to like temper it. He's got to learn how to play their game. All right, so going to go back up to people. Oh, Anita, I'm going to get a card for you. Anita says it sounds like this year will be new in many ways. It will. There's a lot of new energy coming in 2024 for all of us. And it's going to be a very dynamic year, but it's also going to be a year where things will break away. A lot of things will break away. You're going to see that on the world stage. And for a lot of people who aren't centered in themselves, it's going to be very fearful and chaotic. So best advice I can give everyone is center in yourself. Take that time to be really quiet. Take time to go into quiet contemplation. Get your ducks in a row. Okay, so I have the King of Swords for you, Anita. And I've got the Knight of Cups, all male energy around you. And the Star card. So there's people around you who are distracting. One is both male, one older, one younger. It could be your husband and son or ex-husband and son, I'm feeling like maybe. The energy is very disruptive to you, but it's not, I feel almost like you're more emotional about it than you need to be. So just know that. But I also feel that if you just let go and surrender a little bit, things will have a natural way of working out the way they're supposed to. Because I have the Star card here. And the Star card in the tarot for me is that balance between our spiritual world and the material world. It's allowing things to flow. In the card, you see a woman. She's naked at a pond. She's got stars all around her. She's in the moonlight, obviously, and she's filling a water jug. And the symbolism in this card is about filling our cup so that we are full, so that we can bring our best potential to the spiritual world and the material world, the metaphysical and the physical world. So I think that you need to start including yourself more in your processes. I think you're worried too much about the males in your life, and you need to start kind of bringing the energy in to yourself and what you need and what is your need. What do you need in order to make this okay for you? I think the externals and the relationship between those two males is going to work itself out. But you should be concerned about your own self and taking care of you and you being okay with things. I hope that makes sense. And then, next card is the King of Cups. So this is about raising a young male to become a strong adult male. And this will happen naturally with your innate ability and who you really are as a person. So I guess what I'm saying with this Star card and what the tarot is telling us is go into your own power. Stop going into the physical world for the power. The power lies within you to create situations just with your energy. And, make sure that you have a beautiful home life, that what you need for yourself in order to function at full capacity and in your best potential. Just love yourself and the rest comes. Love yourself, your son, put love in the situation. Everything works out great. Okay? Oh, I'm glad that makes sense for you. So that's all I have time for cards for. If you didn't get a card, I'm really sorry, but we will give you a card next week, hopefully. Or maybe I'll get to do some cards on a live on social media. So in closing the show, I just want to say this week we've got, this is important. Next week we have a full moon. I'll be doing a show about that. But this week we've got Mercury in Capricorn, which makes us very sober. Our thought patterns are very sober. It can also be a little bit heavy. So watch out for that. Make sure you're doing something to lighten your spirits. Maybe even just watch a funny movie. This is just a no-nonsense energy. So we need to lighten it up a little bit. Mars in Capricorn also. Mars in Capricorn is very deliberate and very persistent. It can be ambitious, but it doesn't like any sloppiness or excess. So really the very sobering kind of energy out there now. So watch a funny movie, go to a comedy show, do something to lighten your spirits because it can be a little heavy. We've got Venus in Sagittarius. That's going to help us out a little bit. Venus is in Sag, when it's there, it's actually, you can have very blunt speech in the way that you love, or you can love very bluntly. Um, it's also a very social and a very universal energy. So with Venus in Sagittarius, we're going to want to be a little bit more social butterflies, but we're not going to want to just hang out with our best friend. We're going to want to go and be around people. And then the sun moving into Aquarius on the 20th, which is in 5 days, which is Friday. And that's also when Pisces goes into Aquarius. We got a lot of Aquarian energy on that day. The sun moving into Aquarius, where it'll be until February 18th, that's going to make us very innovative. Anything that's outdated or is stale or you've grown tired of, really going to be enhanced this next month, where you're just going to want to cast it out, pack it up, get rid of it. We just don't have a high tolerance for things that we're done with, we're tired of. Really an innovative energy, want to move forward. Things can feel very rigid. We're going to want to shake them off. So anything that's stale, dusty, not well preserved, out the door. It's really an energy where we want to free ourselves. So, this is a very sobering time. A lot of us are going to want to stay home and get rid of those boxes of things that we no longer need, but make sure you also take some time to be joyful. So thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget, also, you can watch replays on the Zencuda Soul Space on YouTube. You can find me on Zencuda Official on Instagram and Zencuda Soul Space on Facebook. Thanks so much, everyone. Share the show. And if you liked tonight, come back next Monday at 7 o'clock and tell all your friends. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought.
Everybody, it's Teresa from Tea Time. What's my show about? I interview people in the entertainment industry, producers, directors, actors, and guess what? My show is on every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Channel 20 on Optimum TV. So tune in because it's fun, interesting, and exciting.
Hi, I'm Georgia Rose, founder of Zencuda. You can watch me on the Soul Space podcast every Friday at noon on Channel 20 for spiritual guidance. And as you all know, that is how I first opened into my own psychic gifts, was through the angelic realm, astrology. So we've got Mars and the Sun together in Scorpio, which creates a lot of combustion. In the astrological world, we call that a Kazimi, and tarot. With the Four of Cups right side up, it means we have a lot of choices to make, and we're not looking at what's really being divinely given to us. We're too busy in the busyness of the choices to really see the divine intervention, the divine timing, and the divine guidance. We're the place. Watch the Soul Space podcast.